Ladies and gentlemen, Blue Bacon here, former criminal investigator. Part of my job as a criminal investigator was to do interrogations. For the record, interrogation just means that you're being asked potentially incriminating questions while in police custody. None of that psh, 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 water on your face type thing. None of that. No, we didn't do that. That was, I assume, somebody else. As before, I understand cinematography is important. That's not what this is about. We're looking at how accurate it is, and to make everything a little more simple, we're going to assume everyone has been read their Miranda rights.
Dylan, for the record, mentalism has never actually been proven to be accurate.
Okay.
Well, that's not bad advice, really. If you know the guy's going to be able to read your body language and extrapolate information from it, you might want to advise your partner and be like, hey, just be cautious, be a little more controlled. This guy might try to get under your skin, into your head, more than usual, more than our usual people. So just be aware, be prepared for it. If you notice yourself getting a little heated, if you notice that it's getting a little weird, remember this. The mirror's in a good place. The door is in an okay place. The problem is the table. We talked about it earlier. Having a table between the people, the subject and the interrogator, often not really a great call. You do sometimes see it in the real world. I have never actually been in a room that was set up like this because there are, in my opinion, much better ways to do this. And of course, my supervisors felt the same way. So never actually been in a room like this where you can be handcuffed to the table. The lighting isn't great. Your lighting is generally going to be a bit brighter. You want the room to be kind of friendly. The whole, be really intimidating, both as a person and with the room itself, actually doesn't work that well, turns out. According to the people who study these sort of things, I guess. So, it's fine. It's okay. It's okay. Looking at the mirror is something you do. There are tactics and techniques where you would want to make it clear there is somebody watching. I generally don't do that because I want the person to feel very comfortable when I'm talking to them, so I can really sort of root out what the issue is and their involvement, etc. But in this case, because the guy probably knows the system pretty well, you might play that game. That's fine.
Was this your card? No. See, I knew you weren't a Queen of Hearts lady, and I respect that.
This seems odd to me. In my experience, if you are a subject, we are bringing you into an interrogation room. You will be searched. You will be bringing just about nothing in. Maybe a wallet, maybe, because we dealt with soldiers, military police, you might have ID tags. But other than that, yeah, I don't know why he would have a deck of cards. Either they brought them in so they could be like, hey, show us this stuff, or they let him keep it, which seems like a terrible idea. That generally would not be allowed. Let me actually walk you through that process. Sir and or ma'am, please place your hands against the wall, about shoulder width apart. Step backwards while keeping your hand on the wall until I tell you to stop. Okay, stop. You want them at a, I don't know, maybe about that angle. Until I tell you to stop, move your feet apart or widen your stance. Don't say spread your legs because that's inappropriate now. That's fine, just widen your stance or move your feet apart until I tell you to stop. And then you have them move their feet apart so they're up against the wall with their hands. It's not super uncomfortable, but if they try anything tricky, they're not going to be balanced enough to get away with it without you noticing it very clearly. And then you start very methodically. Some people start at the feet. Some people start at the head. I generally do the head and work my way down. You go through the hair. If they're female, I would get a female to search. If they're male, okay, fine. You go through, check. You check their collar. You roll that. Go all the way around. Be very, very careful too. And then I'll take generally the right side. So you pat down, you crinkle, you roll, make sure there are no, razor blades hidden in there or handcuff keys. You do that all the way. Maybe check the inside of the sleeve. Check the hand real quick. If they're wearing a jacket like this, you would have them take it off. And then you go down and then do the same for the other side. You might have them lift up their feet so you can check underneath. You might have them take their shoes off entirely, or you might check, just sort of put your finger inside, make sure there's nothing tucked in there. Be very methodical, and then you take anything you find, you put it into a lockbox, you take the key, and you hand the key to them and say, hey, this is your key. Nobody else has a copy of that key. Please don't lose it. But that key gets you into that lockbox to get your stuff. Once we're done here, we're going to let you unlock that, take your stuff out. Do you see that everything is in there? Great. Do you have any concerns about any items that were removed from your person? Great.
Just answer the question, okay,
Okay.
smartass?
All right. Sorry.
Ooh, yeah, no, that kind of physical contact is probably going to be bad. Now, you can make physical contact, but that seems overly and unnecessarily aggressive, that's bad. I would say that that is a bad thing. A good interrogator is going to hide the kind of body language that Mark Ruffalo here is exhibiting. That's a bad move on his part. Well, not Mark Ruffalo. He's doing a great job with his acting, but if he was really an interrogator, that would not be good. I also kind of get the impression that the agents here didn't do any planning before going into these rooms. They feel very sort of unsure of what they're doing. They don't know what direction they're going to take this. Generally, when you do an interrogation, you have a planning phase before you actually go into the room. What's their crime? What's their history? Who are they? What do we know about them? Cool. What techniques do I want to use? What questions should I ask? Let me write down a quick list of things I definitely have to talk about, certainly to establish the elements of the crime that we are trying to discuss, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But I'm not getting the feeling here they did any of that.
Is this your first date?
What?
No, I mean, obviously you guys don't know each other well, if at all, but like there is a palpable tension in this room. And before you get involved, you should consider the fact that she has a lot of big secrets. And I know the first one is that this is your first time off the desk.
And the agents have lost control of this interrogation. Yes, you often do want the subject talking, but not about things that are this far disconnected from the actual thing in play, right? Whatever the crime is. You might make small talk to get them to sort of open up. That's great. Yeah, have an entire conversation. That is not what this is. If they are going into great detail, you want it to be about the crime or the crime scene or the people involved, but not this. You gotta gain control. Let them talk, but let them talk about things that are relevant or useful. This is neither.
Mommy, Daddy. You have big daddy issues.
Okay, that's enough.
That's not going to do it for you. What you got to do is say, that's very interesting, sir, but we're here to talk about whatever. I see here that fact of the thing. The sooner we discuss this, the sooner we can get you out of here. I'm sure you're a busy man. You have a long day ahead of you, long day behind you, something, something, something. Maybe you like the nightlife. Probably wouldn't say that. But you don't just say, that's enough. You be a little more proactive in changing the subject, because he's not going to change it for you. No. You have to do it. Come on.
I'm gonna nail you.
Oh, that actually you could arrest him for. That appears to be unlawful detainment and or obstruction. So if the agents wanted to arrest him right there, you could do it right there, but they don't. I'm going to give it 3 out of 10 donuts. It was bad. It was very bad, but the room layouts weren't awful. I'll give them 3. I don't really want to, but I'm going to give them 3.